So Dave Chappelle is in the news, and I'm guessing the news is trying to smear him. Let's see. Let me see. Dave Chappelle personally came to a city council meeting and threatened to remove his $65 million of investments from his city if they allowed a developer to move forward with an affordable housing program. The objection wasn't to the build, but to the affordable housing component. Wow, it makes him sound like an enemy of poor people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It makes Dave Chappelle sound like the worst dick in the world. So you know that can't be true. Why would, what? You know that can't be true, right? You're like, what?
Well, if I were to take a guess, and by the way, I already do know, it's like every other thing, like sustainable this and that, affordable housing is like a buzzword for a small portion of not.
That's right.
A huge amount of unaffordable housing. Shouldn't all the housing be affordable?
I guess it's affordable for somebody. Chappelle threatened to pull his various. This is from Rolling Stone. These guys are like the National Enquirer now. Chappelle threatened to pull his various business ventures from his hometown of Yellow Springs, Ohio, if the Village Council went ahead with a plan to build, wait for it, more affordable housing. I'm guessing that's Rolling Stone lying again, because Rolling Stone lies all the time. They're horrible. Yellow Springs. This is from Keith Boykin. Ohio developed a plan to designate 1.75 acres of land for affordable housing. But after some residents objected and millionaire entertainer Dave Chappelle threatened to pull his business from the community, the council voted against its own plan. That's from Keith Boykin. So again, you think you're getting the story? You think you are. I know everybody on Twitter thought they were.
I like how the whole world's going to hell in a handbasket because the comedians are really dropping the ball.
The comedians are not. That's right. It is really the comedians have been always the backbone of society. You know that, Kurt. Here's from Chris Gedner. He says, Dave Chappelle, folks, this time he successfully stopped the Village's own affordable housing plan from being passed in Ohio. Okay. We're going to keep going. This is from Justin, what's this guy's name? Justin Baragona. He says, Dave Chappelle really spitting fire and speaking truth to power by threatening to take his millions away from a small town if it provides affordable housing to working class people. Boy, that's just like Joe Rogan is a white supremacist, alt-right crazy. That's the same thing. You're like, what? It turns out he's the exact opposite. So let's see what happened. Here we go.
No. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Hi, I'm Dave Chappelle. I just want to say, and Marianne, I can talk to you about this privately. I don't know why the Village Council would be afraid of litigation from a $24 million a year company while they X out the $65 million a year company. I cannot believe you would make me audition for you. You look like clowns. I am not bluffing. I will take it all off the table. That's all. Thank you.
Okay.
By the way, he will.
All right.
He's already shown what he'll do, you know?
Yeah, he's already shown he's a man of his word. He'll walk. AJ Delgado says this is a lie. Dave Chappelle did not shoot down an affordable housing plan in his town. It was a tacky developer's plan for 140 homes in the $400,000 price range, not affordable housing. The plan happened to include a throw-in of 1.7 acres, how generous, of affordable housing. So this was a huge development, and they were using the ploy of affordable housing to get the plan approved. Dave Chappelle sniffed it out and said, I ain't going along with this garbage. That's what happened. Here's what.
Did someone hire those Jonas Propaganda Brothers to come up with a thing for their real estate?
Here we go.
Shockingly enough, the headlines about this story are incredibly misleading. This is not an affordable housing project, an affordable housing endeavor that we're seeing. This is a case of a real estate company that's building a development, and of the 55 acres of this development, they're promising to set aside under 2 acres for quote-unquote affordable housing. And we see this happen a lot. It's an attempt to get a tax write-off. So I think it's a really misleading setup. But I do think that it's an important opportunity, hopefully, for us to look at these issues of housing, because the truth is celebrities won't save us or provide affordable housing. Real estate companies won't save us or provide affordable housing. And just to give you a sense, Oberer, the company, will not necessarily be the company that develops that part, the affordable housing part. And the village will ask for proposals later, according to plans submitted to the village. So obviously, the affordable housing element is not a priority because they may not even be developing that part. They don't even have the proposals. Well, I'm glad that people are on the side of affordable housing. I think that what is one of the problems with this framing, though, is that but for Dave Chappelle getting up at a council meeting, we would be having affordable housing, when the truth is we don't prioritize affordable housing. It's not profitable enough to develop affordable public housing, and there's going to be a shortage of that until we realize that housing is something that we all believe in investing in. And imagine the resources we could put into housing if we spent the money that we're spending in sending billions of dollars in lethal aid to Ukraine.
Wow, good points by Katie Halper. So there's an article being circulated about Dave Chappelle blocking an affordable housing plan near his residence, and I was ready to trash him too. Then I read the article. Of the 34 acres to be developed, only 1.75 acres were going to affordable housing. That's 5% of the land. The land is zoned for single-family housing, and the developer's initial plan was to construct 143 units of suburban sprawl, which the villagers rightfully opposed. So they tried to get it rezoned for PUD. What is PUD? Is that public? What does that stand for? And donate 1.75 acres for affordable housing, which got rejected again. So they couldn't get their housing plan because it's just urban sprawl. So they're like, oh, I know. Well, let's pretend it's for affordable housing and we'll get a tax break too. And so that was all garbage. And of course, all those garbage people were wrong about Dave Chappelle. So now you know why you can't trust the establishment media blue checks, because they're all fucking propagandists. That's why they got the job. They got the job because they are willing to do that shit.
Planned unit development is PUD.
Oh, planned unit development. Thank you. Forbes, what is a planned unit development? A planned unit development is a community of single-family homes and sometimes condos or townhouses where every homeowner belongs to a homeowners association.
God.
The villagers have consistently argued that the interests of the developers don't address the needs of the community: walkability, environmental protection, provisions of social infrastructure. So they should come up with a better plan that would truly benefit young families. Sounds like Dave Chappelle's on the right side of this issue. The development itself was not voted down, though. It can still move forward without the affordable housing portion. Yes, because the developers own the land, but the city council has the power to allow or deny permit to develop based on proposed plans. Developers will threaten to litigate, and that's where Dave Chappelle comes in with his threat to pull his own investments if the city council acquiesces.
So he's the hero of the situation.
So he's actually the hero of the situation. Yes, Kurt, you are correct. So this was all just spin to make Dave Chappelle look like he single-handedly smacked down on affordable housing and keep the bad press from the developers. Yes. So now you see how the press works? Do you see why we have a show? Do you understand why people watch this show? Is because they can't stand that bullshit they're getting from establishment media, which it is. And again, if you're getting your information about COVID from the establishment media, you're being propagandized and you're being lied to. Exactly, and everyone's so glad to jump on it without even checking the facts. That's exactly right.
Right.
So now they'll pretend that Joe Rogan, again, is the misinformer when he's not. Again, people are afraid of Joe Rogan not because he misinforms. They're afraid because he informs. That's what they don't want. Anyway, so there you go. There's the Dave Chappelle bullshit story. Of course, it's a bullshit story. I'm going to guess that the Young Turks will report this incorrectly.
They did.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, they did. They did.
They don't even know the facts of this story?
No, they don't. They misreported it completely.
Baron Shankar Conan and the rest of the...
Yeah. And now you know why. Have you gone to their channel lately? No one's watching their channel.
Their title of the clip was Dave Chappelle foils affordable housing plan. Indeed.
So now you go to TYT and they just as misinformed as everybody. They've been that way since I left. The only person who was ever telling the truth about Russiagate there was me. Everyone else was CIA talking points 100%. They're still doing it.
Didn't they? I mean, I never thought they were good, to be honest with you. But did at one point they would maybe just a little bit look into something?
I don't know if they. I would look into things at aggressive progressives. I don't know if they ever looked into anything at the Young Turks. They never did about Libya or foreign policy or any of that stuff. I know that, or Syria. They never looked into anything. They don't look into anything.
They looked into camel toes.
They looked into camel toes. They got that down.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And revenge
those camel toes were blocking affordable crack pipes or something.
They got a close up on Britney Spears' vagina naked. They posted that at their website. That's a fact.
Yeah, but that was okay. That was okay because that was the culture then, and and Pago isn't sexy.
Pago is not sexy. Pago doesn't wear a skirt so short you can see its ass. That's not what Pago's doing. Pago's wearing a full-length Amish dress. We're doing live stand-up comedy in Los Angeles on February 12th, February 18th, February 20th. We're in Philadelphia. We just added a second show. And back on February 26th here in Los Angeles. It's our intimate 60-seat theater. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link. And then while you're there, you can also become a premium member, get access to all our stuff.